Hi everyone, today I am going to be working on more Halloween styly pictures. We've got these 4 little pictures here in the corner of this Ivy page that we've been working on, and I thought it would be fun to tackle some of these, maybe all of them. I'll have to just wait and see how it goes really. So I'm going to start with this spider, and what I'm thinking about first is the background. Now my spider's going to be grey and black, I should imagine, so I want a sort of spooky looking background, but I don't want it to be too dark so the spider stands out. So I'm thinking either orangey, sort of pumpkiny, or sort of green ectoplasmy background. I think I'm going to go for the orange. So I'm going to grab a few oranges. Oh, my oranges have all jumped all over my place. I tipped up my my pencils and they've gone a bit mad. Anyway, I'm going to start with the dark cadmium orange from the Polychromos. We're using Polychromos for this page just because it's just what I grabbed. Excuse me. Yet again, I've just eaten a biscuit and it's making me cough. So I want a really dark sort of outline, as you can see. So I'm just going to pop that in, and I'm going to sort of fade it towards the centre. And I think what that will do is help the spider to stand out a little bit more, because the background will be lighter around where the spider is. So I'm working this bit first quite dark. I'm going to really layer up the orange here and then just reduce it as we go towards the middle a little bit. So I want to blend it into a lighter orangey colour as we go. Now obviously I want to try not to get it on the legs, but I'm not that good, so there's a very high chance that I will. Okay, my next orange colour is this one. He's a little small, just looking him up. He is number 113, which is the orange glaze. So we're going to go over the edge here to blend it in, and then pull some of that lighter colour towards the centre and fade it a little bit. Now I do this quite quickly. It would be neater if I did it more slowly, but I am always in a rush, and I don't mind if it isn't perfectly neat. So you may want to pause and just take your time. Do it a little bit more slowly. And believe me, although I'm rushing, I do still find it relaxing. I know sometimes when we're in a hurry, it's rushed and we're not chilled, but I'm quite chilled. This is the orange glaze. I think he's coming close to his retirement date, but he will be okay for this bit. And I think this might be the last one I use actually, because it's quite a small square, and I think this one's quite a nice light orange, so it'll work against the spider. I'm sorry for those of you that dislike spiders. You might be shuddering at the thought of colouring this page. Johanna does like her spiders though, doesn't she? It's snakes and eels that make me shudder, and I'm going to try and be brave and colour them in. I did the sort of entwined eel page in Lost Ocean. I was really brave, and there's one when there's an eel poking out of a little hole in the cliff. I did that one, but I've got a Millie Marotta book, and there's several pages of snakes, and in my Kirby Orizan's book, and I am not feeling brave to tackle those. I'm just going to finish off with this one, which is the dark chrome yellow, and just do around the edge of the spider, just in this slightly lighter colour, just to make sure I've gone all the way to the edge, and just to sort of fill in any little gaps really. I think that looks quite cool as a background. I'm really pleased with that. And I am going to do the spider now. Now I don't want to just do him black, because that's fine, but I think we try and make him look a little bit more interesting than just a black. So I've got my black, which I will be using. Here he is. He's another one due for retirement. I think he's my tiniest pencil at the moment, to be honest. And I have actually brought out my bigger black, but he's not quite ready yet. I'm not quite ready. Now we've got a Paynes Grey, which is quite a sort of purpley grey, which is a nice colour, and might go for a cold grey 6 as well. So he's going to be quite dark. Now I'm going to start with my black, and I'm going to do all the areas that I want to be really dark and the outline. And I think this will contrast really nicely with the lighter orange. So I'm going to fade that in a little bit, in the same way I did with the orange really. Now the legs are quite small, so I don't know how much we can shade them, but I will show you my idea. Same with the eyes. With the eyes, I'm going to make them black and leave a little white bit in the middle. If you struggle with this, you can always use a white pen to white out, but I'm going to leave a white bit because I'm not sure if it's going to work. If it doesn't work, I can colour over that, you know, so that's why I'm leaving it like that for now, and we'll see. This is the Paynes Grey. Oh no, so I haven't finished with the black. I've got to do the legs. So I'm going to do the end and this part and leave the rest. I'm sort of going to lighten the legs towards the centre of them and towards the knees or whatever. Do spiders have knees? Well, they have bent legs, don't they? I think that's what freaks people out sometimes, is the sort of bent legs. And there's a word, if I say it in association with spiders, it makes my son shudder. So I won't do that, just in case you're feeling uncomfortable. This is the Paynes Grey. Just think of him as a toy one, or maybe cartoon. He's okay. So you can see I'm just going over those areas where I've left. Now I don't want to leave any white because he's not shiny. He's, you know, but I want to just fade the colour a little bit and just make him look a little bit more shaped, I suppose. You could use an even lighter colour. This is the Cold Grey 6, but I think if you transition from a dark to a light, it can be quite difficult to get a nice blend. So it's easier to do a colour that's closer to what you're using and just try and fade it by doing less layers and less pressure. So we've got a lighter area of the grey black, but it isn't completely white. There we go. I don't like those eyes. I'm going to go over them. Now I can see a few areas here where I've missed with the orange, so I'm just going to go back over that now. Trying not to go over the lines too much because I could either end up smudging the black into the orange, which I want to avoid, or getting orange in those paler areas of black, which again I don't want to do. So doing this can just help to blend it all together. The orange can go right over the whole lot if you want to. There we go, which is what I'm doing. And there he is. Now what I think I might do, we haven't got loads of time, I'm going to do a second one and then I should do the other two in another video, and then we can spend some time. I won't feel like I need to be rushing through because, you know, I try and keep my videos not too long. Now we have our skull and crossbones. Now I want to keep them white. I think the bones look quite fun if they're white. You know, you could do them black, but I think we've got a black spider. I'm going to keep them white. So I'm thinking background. Now I don't want a black, I could just do black and I think that's okay and they would stand out, but I think it's a bit too much just black. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to use the greys and blacks that I used for the spider and do a graduated background, but this time make it darker in the middle and lighter as we go around the edge, and there we get, and then the white will show up more against the darker background. I'm going to start by doing in the eyes because I think it looks more spooky if they're really dark. I mean, if you look inside the recesses of a skull, it isn't usually black, but I think it's just fun for this sort of Halloweeny theme. And now I'm going to go around the edge of the whole skull in the black, but hopefully you can see what I'm doing. I'm doing a hard layer around the edge and then just graduating it out from the line so that we can start to fade it into the other greys. Now I may choose even more than 2 greys, but we'll see. We haven't got a lot of space to play with here, have we? So we'll see how it goes. Just be open-minded and just thinking it through as I go, really. I think it's such fun, skull and crossbones. I think I've never been scared of a skeleton. I remember in my primary school, my teacher brought in a skeleton, you know, a human skeleton on a stand, you know, like they sort of use for teaching purposes. I don't know where he got it from. And I remember we all arrived in the morning, Paynes Grey next, and we walked into the classroom because we'd have morning playtime in the playground first, and then the teacher would come out and there'd be a whistle blown and we'd all have to line up and then sort of march into the classroom sort of thing. Not really march, but, you know, walk nicely in line into the classroom. I'm just going over the edge of the black and pulling the colour out towards the edges. And we all arrived in the classroom and there was this skeleton standing next to the teacher's desk. Some of the girls were screaming, I remember. And the teacher made us all line up and shake hands with the skeleton so that we weren't frightened, which was quite funny. Cold grey 6. And I wasn't at all freaked out by it. It just isn't something that... I think I didn't really watch scary programs, so I'd never associated it with being scary, so it didn't really bother me at all. I'm quite liking the fact that this isn't really dark and it looks a bit sort of misty, smoky almost effect with the round and round. Circular pattern. I'm going to go for the next lighter grey for the end. This is the Cold Grey 5. And just do the corners and edges. I'm really impressed with how sharp my pencils are. I don't know why they're so sharp, but it's very good. Anyway, so that's my little story. I think the teacher was did us all a big favour actually. There were a few things he did which I didn't agree with, which looking back were a bit odd, but generally he was a really good teacher, and he certainly taught me maths very well. I remember passing my 11+ exam. Any Brits will know what that is if they're of a certain age. This is my black. I'm just going back in because I want to define the edges a little bit more. We all did an 11+ exam. I think now that you have to pay to do it if you want to do grammar school entry. And there was loads of maths, I seem to remember, in the 11+. And we'd been taught, all we seemed to learn was maths. So actually when I started secondary school, having passed my 11+, which was good, I found the maths really easy, and actually used to mess around in the lesson. Now I'm thinking I'm going to leave that like that. So you can see there's a definite darker edge around it. You could blend that out more and have go on top with your other greys, but I quite like that. I think it makes it stand out from the page. So it's up to you. I'm just going to do a tiny bit of shading on the bones themselves in quite a light grey. So I'm grabbing the, not that one, yes, I think that one actually. I'll have this little argument with myself. You can join in if you like. Cold grey 3, 2 or 3, this is 2. So I'm just going to put a tiny bit of grey here where there might be a little bit of shadow on the bones. And I'm going to leave it like that, I think. I am going to leave you now. I'm going to do the other two in another video because I have just had a message from my son which I need to answer because he's at college and needs a little bit of help. So I'm going to leave and do that, and I shall do these other ones in other videos. So thank you so much for watching. I had great fun doing those. I hope you enjoyed it. and happy colouring.